I will be forever the myth.
You're the king of kings, man.
There's always a pecking order. The little packers never mess with the big packers. So I'm a rooster, and he's a chicken, so to speak.
But Arnold himself, when he came on the scene, again, with the Pumping Iron movie, his book, and the segue into the movies, where not only bodybuilders, but everybody saw this, great physique of Arnold, Conan, all those movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that caused bodybuilding to soar through the stratosphere for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, that really, Arnold's influence to me was comparable to kind of what Steve Reeves did many years before, playing Hercules, because, I mean, God knows how many people he inspired, including myself.
Yeah.
To get into body. When I saw Hercules as a kid, I was dumbfounded by this guy's. I had never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole persona of Steve, this handsome guy and tiny waist and, just fantastic. I couldn't wait to start working out. You know what I mean?
But I think what made Arnold different than Reeves was that he would go on these talk shows and he would explain what bodybuilding is, and he would make it more, palatable, I guess, for the general public, where people could, I understand it more now. I get it. Where before it was thought of as this really weirdo sport, nobody would even look at it. And Arnold made it kind of cool and kind of hip and all that. And then it became cool to work out. And then everybody started getting into that.
Absolutely. Arnold's personality had, and as I said to you a long time ago, we did an interview a long time ago, Arnold stood out among the bodybuilders of that era because he was the only one that really had the personality.
Yeah.
Like the Tonight Show, and, had this self-deprecating humor where he could make fun of himself. Frank, all these guys were great guys. Frank, Zane, Dave. They didn't have Arnold's.
They wouldn't have been able to do it.
What is it called? This
charisma
and let's say open personality to do that kind of. They just didn't do it. So it was necessary for a guy like Arnold to be around to increase the popularity of bodybuilding. I do believe.
I remember being in high school, and I was into bodybuilding, and I would watch Arnold on the Tonight Show. And this was before he was Conan, way before, a couple of years before. So he wasn't a movie star yet, but he would just go on there as a bodybuilder, usually when he was doing one of his books or something. Right. And even as a kid, as a teenager, I was so impressed that Arnold had so much confidence being on the Johnny Carson show, which was a big deal.
Yeah,
I think most people going on the Johnny Carson show would have been a nervous wreck because it's watched live, right? Or it was, I don't know if they taped it, but it was watched by millions of people. It was the biggest show at night, for sure. It was the biggest talk show in the world. And it was a big, big deal. And he would go on there no big deal. He would just cross his legs and he'd be joking with Johnny and he'd joke with the other people on the show.
And beautiful. You were reluctant to do so. How come?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, at the time I was promoting this weight training book for the general public. And you really have to be very careful when you promote a book like this, how you promote it.
Right.
And I thought that by promoting it, by taking off my shirt and flexing, would get the wrong message across, because I did not want to show people how to get a Mr. Universe physique, but I wanted just to show the average person how to get in shape.
Right.
So it would have been the wrong thing to do, although I never really was against taking off my clothes.
Yeah, I know that. Okay. But you're right. Most people who work out or weight train are not doing what you fellas do, because you're professional bodybuilders, and that is a sport unto itself, which requires hours and hours, day after day, year after year.
Right. It takes a lot of training and a lot of, lifting weights and dieting and discipline and so on. And I think that the general person out there on the street really isn't interested in that, because that's really the competitive side of weight training. But I think what everybody is interested in is really being in shape, firming up, being healthy and all that, And so that's why I wrote this other book now, which is for women, because I felt that there's so many women out there that are out of shape. And I've done seminars, for instance, for the last 4 or 5 years.
Is that for out-of-shape women or for seminars?
No, I've done seminars for the last 4 or 5 years for women, how to get in shape and all that. And I haven't found a woman yet that was happy with her body. And they all have some complaints. The bust line is too small, or the hips are too big, or this and that. And so I felt that I could be the one to save them.
You're going to save them?
Yeah, save them. And really make...
Save us all some, Arnold.
Exactly.
Would you say...
More happy.
And I remember sometimes other shows he would do, the host would be kind of nasty toward him, and they would like try to make jokes, and he just laughed it off. And he knew how to handle these people. He'd get right back at them. He was so quick. And he was so confident.
Is this always what you wanted to do after bodybuilding?
It wasn't clear when I was a kid what I wanted to do, but I knew that bodybuilding was a means to an end, and it would open up a lot of doors and opportunities. So
did you ever consider secretarial work?
I did, but my typing wasn't that good.
Typing was no good. Now you mentioned you're trying to. Did you say lose your accent or what?
No, it's just that you always have to work on it to be totally understandable out there.
Well, you don't want to lose it, though, do you?
No, it's not important to lose it. I think that some people think it's attractive. Other people think it's very sexy, which I don't blame them for saying so. I think it has a lot. I used to do bench press with over 500 pounds and squats. The kind of training that you do right now, basically, I couldn't believe the way you broke this jacket.
Thank you very much.
That was too much.
She's a lovely woman.
She's wonderful. She's the best thing that ever happened in my life.
Now, how does the rest of the Kennedy family feel about you? Not that you aren't a great guy, but... I mean, how did you know what I mean?
It's the best thing that ever happened to the family.
I think people today who don't know who Arnold is, they don't realize the impact that he had on promoting bodybuilding. Because like you said, Jerry, no one else could have did that. Lou Ferrigno could have did it. Frank Zane could have. Franco couldn't have did it. Nobody.